If you'd like to just take a few seconds and settle yourself in, find a couple deep breaths, relax, find whatever grounds you. Everybody I know talks about grounding by putting both feet on the floor. If that's you, great. If you're a 1 foot on the floor person, do whatever's most comfortable for you. Find your center, find your grounding, find where you're at, find the place in your body. If you have to move around a little bit to get relaxed, to do that. And as you do that, I encourage you, if you're interested and going to find the candle that you might light to start our time today. And find your match or your lighter to go with that. We are, of course, many people from many places, but we are here together now in this place, all in this unique thing we call Zoom, but together nonetheless. We light our many flames, and I encourage you to do that and make, in some ways, one fire together now. We have our many hearts, each with their specifics and their uniquenesses and their ups and their downs, the ways that they are filled and the way that they are broken, and we join them together into one circle. Now, I wish there was a way we could turn Zoom into circles instead of a bunch of squares, but here we are, imagining that we are in circle. Each of us bringing the faith that is in us and the doubt, each of us bringing the joy that is in us and the sorrow, each of us bringing the hope that is in us and the despair, each of us bringing the hurts that we carry and the hurts that we have caused. To join our faiths and doubts and joys and sorrows and hopes and despairs and hurts carried and hurts caused with the hopes and fears and joys and faith and doubts and hopes and hurts of one another. May this time and this place be a time and a place where wisdom and generosity and wholeness and love prevail in our midst. Amen. I moved to Long Island about 7.5 years ago. 7.5 years ago, we moved from Sicily. We were working with refugees and asylum seekers in Sicily. My wife is a social worker. I'm a pastor. We moved to Long Island to kind of settle our kids back into the States so that they could prepare for high school and university and all of those sorts of things. And we moved here sight unseen. I did back in those days, 2018, believe it or not, you could do all of your interviews and all of those kinds of things. Back then it was with Skype. Zoom wasn't a thing that we knew of. And so we moved here sight unseen with a number of very specific goals. One was to provide stability for our children. One was to kind of heal from some of the trauma we had been working with refugees and asylum seekers and people who had been trafficked mostly across northern Africa from Western Africa. And one of those kind of spoken but unwritten hopes was that we would spend time going to Broadway. As an Iowa boy, I knew that where we lived in Long Island was just 7 or 8 miles from Broadway. Now, I didn't know that was 45 minutes by train, because in Iowa, that's just a 7-minute drive, maybe 8 minutes if there was a lot of traffic or a couple stop signs. On Long Island, that's a different story. But we were close, and we hoped to go and see a lot of Broadway shows and spend some time in theater and see the opera and spend time together there. And then COVID hit shortly after we moved, and we didn't leave our house. And occasionally I got to my office, but we didn't go to any Broadway. And then a couple of years ago, we said, we have to start doing more of that again. And one of the things that we went to was Hadestown. I don't know if you're familiar with Hadestown. Hadestown is one of my favorite Broadway shows. And in it, kind of about a third of the way, halfway through, Orpheus is on the train and he offers a toast. And the toast is on the back of my phone. The toast is, I carry it with me everywhere. The toast is very simple. He says, "To the world we dream about and the one we live in now." And that has kind of become a mantra to me. It's easy in some ways to get stuck in one or the other, to get stuck in the world we dream about without being attentive to the fact that the one we live in now is what it is, or to get so stuck in the one we live in now that we forget about the hope and the anticipation and the joy of the one we dream about. To the world we dream, I think it was Adriana, to the world we dream about and the one we live in now. And finding that balance in the midst of that. So today I'd like to spend some time doing just that. So if you have a piece of paper, I encourage you to take a piece of paper or a pen and kind of drill down for a couple of seconds the place where those two don't match up for you. I wrote a prayer at the beginning of the year to kind of start my day off every day this year. It was intended as a prayer. I'm hoping to walk the Camino, but also as I get in there. And in the midst of that prayer, in the middle of it, it says, close my mouth when I would open it and open my eyes when I would close them. Those places where we might close our eyes to what's going on in the world around us in the here and now, or those places where we know there are hurts, or those people we know that are struggling, or those situations in the world around us that we don't know quite what to do with, where the world we live in now and the world we dream about just don't match up with one another. And just, if you would, I won't make you share these, don't worry. Write those down on a small piece of paper. I, for example, have a couple names written down. I have a few people who've been diagnosed with cancer lately in my life. I'm looking at what's going on in Venezuela. I'm looking at what's going on in Minneapolis. And there's so much going on in the world around us where what I dream about and what's going on now just don't seem to quite match up. So take just a couple of seconds, if you will, and label a few of those for yourself. They could be personal things. They could be global things. They could be familial things. They could be body or mind or circumstance or spirit or you name it. Wherever the world we live in now and the world we dream about don't quite match up for you. Don't rush. There's no hurry. We have plenty of time. This is a place where time is abundant. Wonderful. Now, if you would take that paper, and this is all invitation, this is not instruction, so do, of course, whatever you'd like, and put it in your dominant hand. I'm right-handed, so put it in your right hand, and fold it up or crumple it up or hold it so that it's in your hand good and tight where you can hold on to it. And hold that up to your heart and your chest. It's a little harder to your heart if you're left-handed. One of my children's left-handed, so wherever is comfortable in there, hold that tight, if you will. Take a couple of deep breaths and recognize it, know it there. Take your labyrinth. Do you have your labyrinth with you? Show us, if you're interested, your printout or your labyrinth. Oh, I see a couple double ones, some wood ones, some 3D ones, a cloth one there by Cheryl. Wonderful. Now, I am inviting you, do whatever you want, to take your labyrinth and put it by your non-dominant hand. Just set it down there so that you can hold on to that paper. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to let you hold that paper for as long as you want to hold it. And I'm going to read a poem, and after I read that poem, I'm going to start two pieces of music. They'll both last about 4 minutes. So together we're going to have about 8 minutes for your finger walk. When you're working your way in during that first piece of music, I encourage you to carry that paper with you strongly and firmly and deeply in your heart. And when you get to the center, I invite you to kind of take that paper and to open it up. Take a deep breath and work your way back out. And when we get to the outside, see where you feel. See what you've left in the labyrinth. See what you've taken out from the labyrinth. I'm going to read that same poem a second time. If all goes well, it's going to be on your screen. So you're welcome to look back at it during your walk if that's helpful for you. And so we'll have a poem, we'll have two pieces of music, we'll have a poem. I am going to share the poem, read it, and then start our music. And I encourage you to take your time in the process. Here we go. May it not be long. May it not be long before the world we dream about and the one we live in now are one. May it not be long before the earth and all she carries no longer suffer from human selfishness. May it not be long before the valleys can sing again, the meadows laugh, and the barren places burst into bloom. May it not be long before wealth and power are bound to accountability, and the resources of all turn to the purposes of justice. May it not be long before we vacate the safe refuges of pessimism and cynicism and find the wells of hope that shallow pools of optimism. May it not be long as we call into the deep for those who will give us new ways for better being, those who will increase our altruism and diminish our greed, and those who will lead us toward ancient truths in present times. May it not be long before the world we dream about and the one we live in now are one. May it not be long before the world we dream about and the one we live in now are one. May it not be long before the earth and all she carries no longer suffer from human selfishness. May it not be long before the valleys can sing again, the meadows laugh, and the barren places burst into bloom. May it not be long before wealth and power are bound to accountability, and the resources of all are wedded to the purposes of justice. May it not be long before we vacate the safe refuges of pessimism and cynicism and find wells of hope deeper than shallow pools of optimism. May it not be long as we call into the deep for those who will give us new ways for better being, those who will increase our altruism and diminish our greed, and those who will lead us toward ancient truths in present times. May it not be long before the world we dream about and the one we live in now are one.